A surprise new game announcement and a big 2024 Pokemon leak that puts things in interesting territory for Nintendo Switch 2, a console that could have a new Pokemon game in its launch window, making it unbelievably lucky. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hope you're all doing fantastic. Let me know your take on today's two topics in the comments down below. We're going to kick it off with the official new announcement of Hitman Blood Money Reprisal. Now, this is very interesting because previously we have Hitman on the cloud. Basically, we don't have Hitman. Okay, so now this is Hitman Blood Money, a game from 2006. I understand. 17 years ago is a long time, but what's so cool about this announcement is that they are bringing new features from later Hitman games in the last 17 years to this old title. So it's kind of like, in my opinion, an ideal remaster because it's giving new features to an old game, and I kind of like that. That way it modernizes a 2006 title for 2023. It's launching this winter. It'll add instinct mode to locate key targets and objectives, an ever-present minimap, and a wide array of gameplay enhancements. It doesn't look like the graphics are going to be enhanced, but they obviously should run better on the Switch, so it should look pretty good. There's already been a re-release on PS4 and Xbox One, but those did not have the new features, so this is a nice get for Switch, and no set date, but winter, so I'm guessing like it'll be out maybe December. That seems to be a nice time to release games this year since there's not a whole lot major coming out. But next year is going to be crazy for Switch fans. We are already on pace to have Metroid Prime 4, a brand new 3D Mario, Princess Peach back in the starring role, and plenty more. Not even to mention third-party titles, but it looks like the Pokemon Company might get in on the action. Now, typically Pokemon waits, right? They'll wait for a base to establish, and especially with Switch, they had to wait to figure out how to develop for a home console. Not sure they've fully figured that out even 7 years later, but alas, wouldn't it be neat if there was a Pokemon game available early in the Switch 2 life cycle? But before you worry that you'd have to upgrade, I can almost guarantee you any Pokemon game that comes out in the first year of Switch 2 will also be on Switch 1. I think that's just how it is going to work, especially with a title like Pokemon that is so popular, will sell so many units, and even more in particular with the kind of Pokemon that is leaking for 2024. This comes from Central Leaks. They haven't posted in a bit. We talked about them throughout the course. Dang, not throughout the horse. Throughout the horse. What is throughout the horse? Probably a lot of hay. Maybe, I don't know, a small creature or two. But throughout the course of the channel, we've talked about Central Leaks. They've got things right about Pokemon Scarlet Violet, Sword and Shield, past Pokemon games, remakes, and whatever else. They posted, one leaker hinted at something with authentic flavor, using the phrase that the Chinese community refers to as a faithful remake a la BDSP. It's Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, two of the more disappointing Pokemon releases in recent memory. Now, those two games released on Switch in kind of a empty period where Nintendo was like, here, let's make up a game for November. Oh, it's a chibi Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remake. Nobody really loved it as far as I'm aware. But it does sound like, based on other leaks coming from Riddler Coup and coming from Centro, that we're due for a black and white remake. It really seems like that is where Pokemon will go next. And if this leaker is to be believed, then there could be an authentically flavored, faithful remake of Black and White next year. Now, the Pokemon Company would have a very interesting choice because they could return to their chibi art style. I don't think that would look very good on the Switch 2. If this is indeed to be a cross-gen release, which would be very beneficial for the game's sales and for audiences of both the Switch and those upgrading the Switch 2. You wouldn't need to like hold on to your Switch to play Pokemon, but you also wouldn't need to upgrade to play Pokemon. It's a perfect storm. But I think they should either go HD 2D. They probably can't do that, but I'd love for them to do that. I think it would look crisp as all heck on a Switch 2. Or they should adopt more of the art style that we've seen in the mainline Pokemon games. Heck, they could even do Legends art if they really wanted to, but I doubt they'd go there. It probably will end up being disappointing visually. It's just kind of par for the course right now for the Pokemon Company. And I don't expect them to hit their understanding of Switch 2 development for at least 3 years. They can't even get Pokemon Scarlet and Violet running great in the 7th year of Switch, so hold your horses on amazing 4K Pokemon. But here's where it all shakes out really interesting, okay? If Nintendo Switch 2 launches before Pokemon, then it's going to have a Pokemon game early in its life cycle, something that just about every Nintendo console cannot say that they've had. Now, you might be wondering, well, what happens if it all comes out at once? But I don't think there's any way Nintendo does that. Almost assuredly, Pokemon will release in November, because that's when they release either the remakes or the new games. Basically, a mainline title is going to be a November release. Would they really want to release a new console, Mario, and Pokemon all in November? Probably not. But wouldn't Pokemon be a great cross-gen title for November to really hype software sales, whether you upgrade it or not? I think we're setting up for a really great year. I think we're going to get Metroid Prime in late summer. I think we're going to get the Switch in late summer, early fall, the Switch 2. And then I think we'll get 3D Mario at launch. And then I think we'll get Pokemon in November. If this all pans out this way, that is a really nice couple months of Switch releases. And it caters to all the audiences. I do think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be a cross-gen game that's enhanced with Switch 2, but still playable on Switch 1, as per the promise way back at E3 2017. I do think any Pokemon title that comes out next year, if there is to be one, will be cross-gen to get those great sales on the pass system. Why not? And then also to encourage conversion. And if you did switch over and upgrade, you can still play Pokemon. Games will now have a big install base to sell on, and they'll be able to look better, perform better, and be tantalizing on a new platform, encouraging adoption. If Mario is exclusive only, well, then there is your reason to buy a Switch 2 and make sure you make the upgrade. But I do think Nintendo will keep some of their titles, especially ones that either were promised for Switch 1 like Metroid Prime, or that don't really need the Switch 2, like a black and white remake. You can argue with me, but there's no way the Pokemon Company in the next 12 months just magically understands amazing graphics and performance. There's just no way. It's just not going to happen. And almost assuredly, they're going to have a different team, a side team working on a remake. So, no. But it's still a big boost. It's still a benefit, absolutely, to slide into the launch window of Nintendo Switch 2. We all talk about the amazing launch year for Switch 1. Two of the biggest games actually were available on past platforms, Breath of the Wild and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but that didn't stop the year from going ham. We also got ARMS, Mario plus Rabbids, and we got the legendary Mario Odyssey. If we launch with a Mario, if we are to get a Pokemon cross-gen, a Metroid Prime 4 cross-gen, well, that's no harm, no foul. Those games still count in the launch window, and that's shaping up to be the most epic launch lineup for Nintendo Switch, or Nintendo as a whole, ever. Now, you could add in third-party games, probably toss in a few more quirky creative titles from Nintendo. Heck, maybe there is a Donkey Kong, or perhaps they have another Kirby. That would be very likely plausible, and it would just enhance. Sure, we'll get some cool crossovers, some third-party titles, just like Switch 1 had in the launch year. And hey, maybe they're saving the Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, remake, redo, remaster, port them over to Switch for the Switch 2 launch, so again, they can capitalize on Switch 1 install base and Switch 2 newness. Because you could go play Wind Waker on your Switch, or you could play Wind Waker 4K running 60 and looking so sweet on your Switch 2. I think that's going to be a lot of the conversation, is everything is better on Switch 2. There will be some exclusive games, there will be experiences from third parties that just aren't possible on Switch 1, but I do think early on, I'm more and more inclined to believe that Nintendo will cater to both, and this will allow them to keep software sales super strong, and also encourage a steady, consistent cadence of titles that appeal to the Switch 1 owner, the Switch 2 owner, and make sure that all development teams are being fed. Nobody wants to throw out their title early on and have it sink. I don't expect the Switch 2 to sink, but just in terms of safety, why not put it out on both if you're able to do that? We've seen game consoles become more scalable than ever before. It's basically PCs at this point for Xbox and PlayStation. So if Switch 2 is able to accomplish something similar, then scaling the game down for Switch 1 and up for Switch 2 should be no problem. The discussion on if you have to buy 2 copies is a totally different story. How will they handle upgrades? Nobody knows. That's uncharted territory for Nintendo, and we'll have to talk about that at a later date. But let me know what you think about Hitman Blood Money. A lot of people's favorite Hitman coming to Nintendo Switch this winter. A nice get. And then this black and white rumor that really seems to be boosting the Switch 2 and would create a very interesting scenario where you'd have great big Pokemon release. Well, I hope it's great, but at least it's a big Pokemon release on both systems, setting up for an absolutely choice holiday 2024. I've been telling you, and I'm going to keep saying it, I think the Switch 2 launch and the Switch 2 life cycle are going to usurp the Switch in ways that people are not ready for. I think we're about to enter the glory days of Nintendo. We thought we were there, but we haven't seen nothing yet. Until next time, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Let me know your take in the comments down below. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. And until next time, SwitchForce out.